New lawnmower prices are through the roof, but can you get a decent used one for less? Hey guys and gals, welcome to Garage Gear. I'm JB, and just so we're clear here, this video will mainly focus on gas-powered walk-behind lawnmowers. I may even throw in some information about battery lawnmowers as well, and this is all based on my experiences buying and selling them over the years. When people ask me what mower to buy, the very first question I ask them is, what's your budget range? I like to call this first phase the hunt. And your very first step here should be coming up with a budget range and sticking to it. Figure out exactly how much you're willing to spend and have that cash on hand. Cash is king, and as of the filming of this video, in my experience, in my local area, on Facebook Marketplace, and on Craigslist, I generally find good quality used lawnmowers for sale for about $150 to $300. Going less than that, I generally find that I'm buying somebody else's problem. Cheaper mowers tend to need a little bit more work, but if you're handy and can handle the repairs, you may score yourself a sweet deal. And I also find that going beyond that $300 price tag starts to push me into new mower price ranges and help this video hit the right range with the YouTube algorithm. Would you mind hitting that like button? Thank you. Now here's an important tip. Look for mowers with a thorough description. The more it says, the better. And I typically find that the longer the description, the better the person took care of their mower. Next up, pictures. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and this couldn't be more true when purchasing a used lawnmower. Was it kept outside? Does it have a hole in the deck? Is it clean? Or is it all rusty? Videos. Not all social media platforms have that option of posting a video on a used lawnmower, but if they do have a video posted on a used lawnmower, check it out, watch the whole thing. These can be super helpful to a buyer. I like to watch those videos all the way through because then I can see exactly how well the mower starts and how well it runs. Plus I get another look at it that the picture may not necessarily provide. Now what to search for? First, I start by looking at brands. I tend to stick with brands that have been around for a while. Toro, Honda, John Deere, Husqvarna, or Husqvarna, as some like to pronounce it, Snapper. If I've heard that brand name before, I'm going to look at it. Brands that have been around for a while tend to be the better choice. No-name brands or Chinese mowers tend to not have parts readily available if something were to break. And on the flip side, well-known brands tend to have a lot of parts available. Now, I'll typically search for mowers that are between 5 and 10 years old, and maybe I'll dabble into the 15 to 20 year range if I find a sweet deal. If they're over 15 years old, I do tend to find that I have to start paying a lot more money for parts. And next up, mower size. Make sure that you buy a lawnmower that is appropriately sized for your yard. Once you looked at it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, be ready to act fast on it. Good ones sell fast, usually within 24 hours. They can fly off the shelf faster than your morals at a Vegas wedding. My fastest sale from the time of posting was 40 minutes. What's yours? Now, when I've looked at the posting and I'm ready to send the seller a message, I'll say something along the lines of, hey, my name is JB. I'm a serious buyer that won't give you the runaround. When is the earliest time I can look at the mower? And 9 times out of 10, I get a quick response from the seller right away, unless they have somebody already coming to look at it.
I really hate that, man.
I try to check out the mower as soon as possible. I found that if I wait, I'll be too late. Now it's time for the next phase, the inspection. I've got this down to a system, and I can usually check over the whole mower in just a couple of minutes. And if you already did your research, like I mentioned earlier, then you probably know what to expect when it comes time for the inspection. Quick tip. Soften up the buyer and break the ice like this. First, get the seller's name from the post, and let's pretend the seller's name is Jake. Hey, you must be the famous Jake with the Craftsman mower. Famous? I didn't know I was famous. By calling them famous, it always puts a smile on their face for some funny reason. I don't know what it is, but people like hearing that they're famous. Now, keep in mind, it's your money, and you can always walk away from this point. And here's how I start checking over the mower. I'm gonna begin by checking the engine. The first thing that I wanna check on the mower is, does it actually run? And they can say that it runs in the ad, but does it though? Let's give it a pull. Starts right up. All right, awesome. I like to be the one that starts it up. And I'll check the pull cord, fire it up, and if it has an electric start, I'll shut the mower off and then try starting it with the electric start as well to see if that's working. And once it's started, I like to listen to it. Does it run smooth? Does it pop? Does it bog down or surge a lot? Is it blowing white or blue smoke? And does it vibrate wildly out of control, which generally means they hit something hard with the blade and possibly bent the drive shaft? If it's doing any of those things, run. If it sounds like it's running smoother than your first date, you're good to go. Also, if your mower has a primer bulb on it, press it a bunch of times, make sure it's intact. Now check your oil and check your fuel. Clean oil will be golden in color, but black or milky oil is bad news. Ask how often they change the oil and perhaps what kind of oil they put in it. Check the whole engine over for any fuel leaks or any cracked fuel lines, and look for any areas on the engine that may have been dirty and then wiped clean. Next, open up the gas tank and give it a whiff. Smells normal to me. You'll know it'll smell real bad if the gas has been sitting in there for a long time. Now here's a good question to ask. What kind of fuel went in it? Regular 87 octane, ethanol free, or stabilized fuel? I found over the years that if they run their engine on ethanol free fuel, they probably took care of it. Also, ask about the spark plug and if it was ever changed. Next, check the air filter, and if it's clean or reasonably clean, it was probably well maintained. It's also a great idea to ask if the mower was ever serviced. Next, you're gonna wanna stop the mower, flip it up on its side, check the blade, and check underneath the deck. You'll wanna check to see if the blade is sharp, and if there's any chips or dings, probably due for a new blade. This blade has definitely done its time. These are actually pretty cheap and inexpensive to replace. Next, you wanna see if the deck is solid, not rotted, cracked, or bent. Generally speaking, if you got 1 or 2 rust spots, that's not a big deal. But when you got a deck rustier than the Tin Man like this is gonna require some protection. And I've done several videos on different coatings that you can apply to your mower deck that will help protect it as well as prevent grass from sticking. I'll have those videos linked down below in the description. Now this here is my old John Deere mower that I bought used, and you can see that I've sprayed it down with some fluid film, and it's kind of wet looking, but it's protected. And as we take a closer look here, what else do we have to look at? A belt. And you want to make sure that there's no cracks or breaks in a belt if you have a drive system on that mower that you're checking out, so that way you know that's not going to become a future problem for you. The next things to check are the wheels and the drive systems. Do the wheels spin freely, and are they loose or wobbly? And just like the tires on your car, check the tread depth of those wheels. There may not be much tread left, and you may have to purchase new wheels. But you could also retread the wheels like I have in the past. I did a video on that as well. I'll have it linked below. Height adjusters. Make sure they work for all the wheels too. Some mowers have issues with their height adjusters not holding. What brands have that problem? Aaron's. Make sure they stay put. And if your mower is self-propelled, be sure to test that drive system. Get that mower going and run it up and down the driveway a few times to make sure everything is moving appropriately. And if it has multiple gears or speeds, test them. And that leads us right to the next thing, cables and controls. Check your cables to make sure they work, and then check the ends to make sure that there's no fraying going on. These are all things that could cost you, so you might as well look now. Also, if the engine has a throttle control, be sure to run the engine in the low setting as well as in the high setting to make sure it's running appropriately. Check your handlebars. Make sure that everything's nice and tight. You want to make sure that your brackets on the bottom aren't breaking for any reason, as well as at any bolt points. Take the extra second as well to make sure that any levers, safety bars, switches are all working right too. Next, does the mower bag, mulch, side discharge? Check them all. If there's a grass bag that's included, make sure it's in decent shape with no holes or tears. Then see if the mower comes with a mulch plug or a side chute. And if your mower can switch between bagging and mulching with a simple lever like this, make sure that that's working too. Ask if the mower comes with any accessories, including the owner's manual. Sometimes people forget that they have this stuff laying around. Battery mowers. Now, if you're checking out a used battery mower, you must ask the following questions. What year did they buy the mower? How many times per season was the mower actually ran? And an even better question to ask is how many times per week or per month did they mow? Then you can start to do the math. Also, ask them how well do the batteries hold a charge? And have they replaced the batteries at any point? Just like your cell phone battery, as the battery gets used, its runtime decreases. Asking all these questions will help you get a good idea of how much life is left in those batteries. Check for any corrosion on any terminals and make sure that the charger is included. And I would probably avoid battery-powered mowers by Ryobi because in February of 2025, they recently had a 250,000 mower recall because they were overheating and spontaneously catching fire. Hey, it's your garage. You burn it down if you want to. Now it's time for the next phase and probably my favorite part, the deal. If you found any flaws along your critical inspection, use those to get some money knocked off. You don't want to pay full price, do you? I always found that it's best to be reasonable with your negotiation because you don't want to offend the seller. I like to personally try to get about 15 to 20% off the price of the mower if I can. Let's say the used mower that I'm checking out is $200 and I want to get some money knocked off. What I'll do is I'll reach in my pocket and I'll already have the amount that I want to pay in cash in my hand. So I'll wave it in front of their face and I'll say, I got 160. Will you take it? And 9 times out of 10, they'll take it. A lot of times, the fact that you're waving money in their face just says, take it. But if they're getting firm on their price, I'll have the other money in my other pocket in case I need to reach for it. But many, many times, this has worked for me over the years. Once you paid for it, load it up and get out of there. Then from there, be nice and go on Facebook Marketplace and give them a positive review. Now, what time of the year do you absolutely want to avoid purchasing a used mower? Between the months of March and May. I usually see after Memorial Day, prices start to come down. The reason is everybody's shopping between this March to May timeframe, which usually equals higher prices and less room for negotiation. And used mowers during this time frame usually get snapped up quickly. Now, when's the best time to buy a used lawnmower? In my experience, there's really 2 good times to nab one. The first will be late summer going into fall. That'll be the best time to buy. People are done mowing for the season and they're looking to clear out their garages. Sellers want quick cash before wintertime and are more open to negotiation. And there's lower demand, which will generally equal lower prices. Another cool thing that I've seen is landscapers and homeowners will generally upgrade during this time and flood the market with some quality used gear. The second best time is when somebody's moving. Keep an eye out for those moving sales because they gotta get rid of equipment quick and will usually negotiate pretty well. But for those deals, you have to act fast. And the absolute best time to buy a used lawnmower is when they're a curb special. Free, baby! Sometimes a quick tune-up or a quick fix may just get it going. Those are always the sweetest deals. For more cool garage gear content, click or tap the screen right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the garage.